On March 4th in Las Vegas, the top drivers in the game are going all in to win the Pennzoil 400 Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series race presented by Jiffy Lube, where the checkered flag is the ultimate jackpot. Make the switch to Pennzoil Synthetics to get complete protection for top engine performance.
We are having fun. Golic and Wingo on ESPN Radio and ESPN2. We are here in Minneapolis. There's the Upper Deck crew for those watching on ESPN2. Live from the Hard Rock Cafe in the Mall of America. We are presented by Progressive Insurance. All phone guests will join us via the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. We are trying to get our performance up because the donuts, Mike, are setting in. They are absolutely just...
That's going to get me going. It's going to get me going through the next couple hours. I'll be all good. I'll crash later. Feel good. Good, clean, and right. Let's go. Let's talk. Come on.
Golic and Wingo, presented by Shell, taking synthetic motor oil performance to a whole new level. Make the switch to Pennzoil Synthetics today. We have another guest that's just joined us. We'll get to him in a minute, but we do need to address this LeBron James story that's out there, Mike. Chris Haynes, who works for ESPN.com, a fine writer, has this story out there with the suggestion that LeBron would be open to maybe talking about playing with the Warriors next year, which sounds great, but there's a lot of moving parts that would have to happen that seems to make it unlikely.
You want to talk about a clicking the headline one. You read the headline, Warriors could set up talks with LeBron if max deal is available. Yeah. The max deal is so Klay Thompson gone, would have to be gone. Kevin Durant would probably have to decline his player option and take even less again as the second best player in the league, trying to push LeBron for that, while LeBron would get the max deal. Let me just say, the headline reads pretty cool. I am willing right now to bet any amount of money that would even hurt me and make my wife really mad at me that this will not happen. Yeah. There is no chance, and I think in any way, shape, or form, that LeBron James will be on the Warriors.
Look, it sounds like that would be the greatest thing in the world.
Would it?
Well, 82-0, maybe.
Holy smokes!
But the moving parts, it would look. I'm not saying it's impossible, but let's just deem it as highly unlikely. So you can read the story. Yeah. It's on ESPN.com, and you can see all the issues that would get around it. All right, we are delighted to be joined now one more time here on the set by, we always say this when he made a sack. Hey, they went to Jared. Former Viking as well as many other teams, defensive end, 5-time Pro Bowler, 4-time first-team All-Pro. Jared Allen is here with us. Thanks for being here, brother. How are we?
Good. I'm good. I can't complain about a thing. I even got a Packers fan cheering for me, so I did something right.
I was just going to say, I think like most people around here, they're just being nice.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
I mean, when you
played,
when you played for the Vikings and the Bears, and you get a Packer fan cheering for you, I agree. You've done something right. You're here courtesy of P&G and Amazon Prime. We'll get into that for a minute. But Super Bowl 50 was your last game, right?
Yes.
You rode off into the sunset on your horse.
Yes.
And unfortunately, it was a cloudy day and there was no sun.
No sun. Kind of, go figure.
For those that don't know what we're talking about, it actually is true.
Yeah.
When Jared retired, tell everybody what you did.
I was actually, we were packing up our stuff from Chicago, and we were heading to my buddy's farm in Iowa, and he sent me this picture the day before, kind of backstory on it, of this beautiful sunset. It was storming in Chicago. He's like, hey, this is what you guys got to look forward to. Right. So my wife comes up with this idea of, that'd be great. We can do a video to announce your time right off in the sunset. Yeah. Cool. So we hauled to get to Chicago, and the storm just followed us. I was like, this is miserable. It's like 30 below, and so we did this video riding off. It was supposed to ride off in the sunset. There was no sun. It was just clouds. And you know what? I guess when you're retiring, it's kind of depressing anyways. And so, go figure. It worked out well. But, I rode off on a horse into the sunset and lack thereof, and haven't looked back.
He really did. Literally, it was the coolest thing.
He was on a horse,
addressing the camera, and then just turned the horse around and rode off.
Instead of riding off into the sunset, he goes, but there is no sunset. Yeah. Oh, well. And moved on.
The part you don't want to get to see because, I guess the Twitter world, there's lengths of how things can go.
Right.
My daughter's in the background as I'm taking off. She yells out, "Daddy, don't fall off your horse."
Oh, that's great. So that was your last game, Super Bowl 50, and everybody talks about that great moment where your last game you walk off as a champ. Peyton Manning did that.
Yeah.
You were the exact opposite.
Exactly.
Last game you walked off and it didn't work out. So how devastating was that at the time?
Honestly, it hit me harder than I thought. I had the whole week to process. I knew in that whole year that was going to be my last year, and so dealing with injuries and stuff like that, being able to play with a broken foot, coming back and being able to play was phenomenal. But the whole week we're preparing, and it was like you don't really enjoy the moment because you're planning on winning. Yeah. And you're like, after we win, I'm going to enjoy the hell out of this moment, right? And then you lose, and you're just like, someone took my Cheerios, my dog ran away. It was just
someone stole your sunset.
Yeah,
You know?
and then you got, and the worst part is the Super Bowl. You have all your friends and family there, right? Because you don't ever plan on losing.
Yeah.
All your friends, and they've been hanging out, partying all day. Hey, what are we gonna do? I'm like, I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
Well, so let me ask.
My kids and go to
I'll
bed.
ask this one question because it was said by a person that I first heard it. It was somebody who had won a Super Bowl, and then said this. And I think it's easy to say when you win a Super Bowl. So you played a long, incredibly successful career. You got to one Super Bowl at the end, and you lost that. And the question is, would you rather lose in a Super Bowl or never go to a Super Bowl?
Losing the Super Bowl, hands down. Yeah, I mean, it's a great experience. And for me, in my career, I think I always look back to our 2009 season here, right, where we were so close to winning the NFC Championship game, and where we were all, our team, and we were all kind of in our prime, not dealing with injuries. So that's what I look back. I'm like, man, this game would have been fun to play in 100% healthy.
Yeah,
at the age of 28.
Or to dream.
Awesome, right? But no, it was such a phenomenal experience. And I'm from the Bay Area, so to be able to have my last game right back at home in front of my family was amazing. Obviously the only way it could have gotten better is by winning, but it happens.
Yeah, the sheriff got you. Or actually, that defense got you. Although the funny thing is, your defense played so well in that game. Everybody
just didn't score.
Yeah,
right.
Everybody raved about the Broncos defense, and rightly so. But you guys, you pressured him. You got turnovers. I mean, you guys really balled out on that day.
Yeah, it was. I think he had 182 yards total offense,
right?
And they got the touchdown.
Yeah, right. They got the defensive touchdown, and then the defense
team.
set up their other touchdown.
Yeah, and then they got the special teams return.
But one more thing about losing the Super Bowl, because for people
keep stabbing.
No. For people that don't know,
the blood is already running down his face here.
Hell of a way to wake up in the morning, Trey.
Yeah, good morning. Have a donut. You'll feel better. As soon as that game is over, the confetti flies, and they want you off the field like you don't exist. I mean, they start roping off the stage, everybody's running out, and they're like, "Yeah, you guys need to get the hell out of here."
Cattle to the slaughterhouse.
Right? I mean, it's like, I did play in the game. Can't I stand on the sidelines for 2 seconds?
One of my coaches was on the Denver side, Fred Pugich, and he was yelling at Jared. And he texted me after the game. He's like, "Are you pissed at me?" I'm like, "Why? I didn't. What are you talking about?" He's like, "I'm trying to talk to you after the game." I'm like, "It's a little hard to talk when you got the rope line coming at you. Golden or orange and blue confetti dropping on your head. We'll talk later."
Yeah, it's the worst. It's like you don't exist in a second.
This isn't the time to catch up.
And then they make you plan, because if your family's going to, people know your family's going to come down, you have a certain amount of passes that you can get down onto the field, right?
Right.
So you got your wife, your kid, your mom, your dad. Everybody's waiting by this area to see if you're going to win or not. They come fourth quarter in a close game, and then it's like, back up.
Sorry.
Give me those passes. Get out of here.
So, go through your career, obviously, as you mentioned, playing here for the Vikings. So, how was that watching now Minnesota one game away from not only making the Super Bowl, but being the first team to play in their hometown stadium?
Oh, so now you're yelling at me, and you're going to make him feel worse.
Well,
Good job.
he wasn't on the field for the game, the one I'm talking about.
I just haven't watched much football these days, and it was fun to follow the Vikings. I came out here for a game earlier in the year, and then to see their success. Obviously, that Saints game was crazy,
gosh,
right?
Yeah.
Oh my, it's so many emotional roller coasters there. And then, but yeah, we were really hoping that they would pull it off and get to come and represent. Not only like I said, my heart will always be here in Minnesota, and just but to be the first team to represent as a Super Bowl team in the home city would have been pretty cool. But you know what? Hopefully they can build on it. You just hope that that kind of loss doesn't have a devastating effect, and you don't get back for another 10 years.
Well, that's the other thing is the mindset as well. We had Dan Marino on here yesterday, talked about what was the second year he got to the Super Bowl, and while he was bummed they lost, he wasn't overly devastated because that young thought process was, oh, we're going to be back.
Yep.
And he obviously never got back again. So talk about the appreciation of it being at the end of your career and finally getting there when some of the young players that have been there maybe on the Patriots like that, thinking, we're going to be there all the time.
True blessing. I was actually having this conversation with Mark Bolger the other day, and he was like, first year I go to the Super Bowl. I'm thinking this is awesome.
This is the norm.
And the same thing coming out of 2009. We're like, okay, we got Brett back. We're going back. Like, there's no chance. And then I didn't see the Super Bowl for another 7 years. I didn't even sniff a championship game. So yeah, that's what's the cool part about this league. You know what? It's constantly changing. So yeah, it's a true blessing to have it at the end of your career. Now I'm gonna lie. It'd be nice to have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
I was gonna say,
Goodness. Brady doesn't go to a Super Bowl. It's a devastating, season for him.
Well, the funny thing about that is, as Jared Allen is with us here on the set, he played we did the numbers, and 2/3 of his seasons that he's played has ended up in at least the AFC Championship game. and so
it's ridiculous.
The thing about that was we actually did the numbers. When Blake Bortles was on the other side, Blake Bortles' career completion percentage is like 64%. So it was more likely that Tom Brady appeared in the AFC Championship game than Blake Bortles would complete a pass. I mean, it's insane. I wonder, Jared, if there's a whole generation of players like you, like, could I have played in any other era except with this guy and that coach? I mean, 17 years later, they got their first Super Bowl, and they're still here again.
My thing is, I spent most of my career in the NFC.
Right.
So I'm just like, why didn't we have an NFC version of this? Why couldn't I have been in that?
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
You know what? It is insane. Like, I read an article the other day. Someone's basically saying, like, it's a testament. It actually looks bad on the league because no one's been able to.
Right.
But honestly, I admire greatness in all,
absolutely,
in everything that people do. And so the fact that they have been able to, in this league that's so highly competitive and there's so much change, to be able to just plug away and always be there. And I like them, I think, because they're kind of like a counterpunching team, you know?
Right.
They get down and they're just like, all right, here we go. Let's go to work.
We'll just adjust. We'll be okay.
And they plow through. So it's been fun to watch.
Former defensive end Jared Allen with us on the set, giving us Straight Talk, brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. Best phones, best networks, no contracts. We'll get to more with Jared in a minute, in about 30 seconds. But first, you got something, Mike.
Yep, time for a little Straight Talk. To win at basketball, it's all about your defensive coverage. You go one-on-one, do you go zone? Similar coverage debates happen when choosing your wireless provider, but you should stick with Straight Talk. You know you're getting great coverage with Straight Talk Wireless because they use the exact same 4G LTE cell towers as the big carriers, but for up to 30% less. Get the ultimate unlimited plan for just $55 a month. Straight Talk Wireless, only at Walmart. Savings may vary. Video typically streams at DVD quality. Refer to latest terms and conditions of service at straighttalk.com. People always say, Jared, about the Super Bowl, guys that have played in it, the sooner you make it like a regular football game, the better off you are. Is that true? Can you, or is that always hanging there, the magnitude of this game?
I wish I would have done the opposite. So I think what we did in Carolina with, the 2 games we lost that year, we kind of got tight. Like, it was the Atlanta game. We had a tough game in New York. We came back and we really hounded. Coaches got on us, and we just kind of felt like we got a little tight and we didn't play our best. And I think for myself and Coach Rivera was awesome. The Carolina Panthers, that's a secret gym in the NFL, by the way.
Really?
That organization is so awesome. But we treated it such like a regular week, just, hey, go do your business, go do blah, blah, blah. To where now, obviously hindsight, you lose. You wish you would have enjoyed it a little bit more.
Right.
Maybe just taking time to just be like, yeah, this is cool. Instead of trying to keep your emotions down. Right. For me, emotions, I play emotionally, so that kind of can help me. But, so when I look back, I was like, man, I wish I would have just embraced the whole surrounding more and really like, man, this is the Super Bowl. Like, you let that build into that whole, up into the climax of the game. But, that's how I would do it, doing it again versus trying to make it. I tried so hard to make it just a regular game. Keep the same schedule. Keep this, that, and the other. Go through the same routine, which is fun, good to a point. But at some point, it's the Super Bowl.
It is. Yeah. It is a different game.
It's a different game. And if you're kidding yourself, if you don't think so.
When did you notice that? Like, was there a certain point, like during the week or when you stepped on the field the first time? Because that was not only a Super Bowl, that was Super Bowl 50, the golden Super Bowl, the 50th anniversary of everything, and there was more hype around that.
Yeah. So we went to the field. You did a walk, there's all sorts of stuff. But it was. I think you realize that when they parade you out during the media days, you have fireworks going.
Yeah,
it's like a circus, right? But yeah, I think at some point I didn't even realize it because I was just kind of like blinders. I just wanted to put blinders on. There was we had some guys, some of the younger guys saw. I think some famous singer, and they're over there like taking selfies or whatever with them, and I was just kind of like, I'm just gonna. Not say I want to get caught up in the outside stuff, and now I wish I would have taken.
I was going to say,
I wish I would have fanned out.
So you regret that a little bit,
totally.
yeah?
I don't even know what to do one of those.
As far as in a game, we're talking about the Patriots. So look at this game a little bit. The Patriots and the way they adjust now, and it seemed that Jacksonville really didn't adjust back in that AFC Championship game. So when you play a team like that, so Philly, a lot of money going on Philly, quite honestly.
They've moved the line quite a bit, from about 5.5 to 4.
But when you play against a team like New England that adjusts so well, what are some of the keys that their opponents, in this case the Philadelphia Eagles, need to do to put that aside?
Oh, I mean, that defense, the way that defense is playing in Philly right now, I don't know that they can do much but just keep doing what they're doing. So I think there's that balance, right? You can't go outside yourself, can't overthink it. You have to be, you just have to do you. And if you get them down, I think that's the thing. You get them down, you can't. You got to go for the jugular. I think there's no way to stop and play conservative. Like, we're going to run the ball. We're going to rely on our defense. They're going to get tired out. Brady's going to wear you down. Eventually they're going to make a play. So if you get a chance to get them down, you got to just stomp on them. You got to keep trying to score, throw Hail Marys.
No, you're exactly right. Jared Allen with us, because if you look at some of the last few playoff games that they played in where they were in trouble. Okay, Super Bowl last year they were down 25 points. And somehow they found a way to win that game. And then against Jacksonville, they were down 10 points in their building, 9 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, and it's a 3rd and 18, and they complete it. They convert the third down, and Brady said, "Letter, that gave us life." You watch these guys; it's like just give them a whiff. Just give them a sniff, and they will suck the soul right out of you.
Yeah,
in the most heartbreaking.
absolutely.
You have to sweep the leg with the Patriots.
Sweep the
Cobra
leg.
Kai. You have to go there. You cannot let them up.
Put them in a body bag, Johnny.
That's what you have to do.
Yeah.
You have to do that. So, having gone through this, and you said you would do things differently. Obviously, the Patriots have been here, done that. They know what they're doing. What advice would you give the Eagles, who most of these guys are here for the first time?
Enjoy it. Yeah. Absolutely enjoy it. You obviously got to focus on your craft. When you're on the field, be present. But when you're around, take the time to go down and see what you want to see and embrace the fact that you understand that this game might not come around again, and you have one game away from winning a ring. And let me tell you, the NFC Championship ring isn't nearly as cool. It's just a constant reminder that I was in second place.
Is there an advantage to having experienced players know the whole process of the 2 weeks of the Super Bowl
100%.
before you even get to the game? So there is an advantage they have.
The craziness from when it goes to getting your tickets lined up.
Right.
I mean, you get a lot of amount of tickets you can buy, and then you got to try to figure out because you're going to get a call from every single human being that that wants to go to the game, and then you tell them the price of tickets are, and they're like, "No, you guys got me right." Now I'm broke. So
here's $40,000.
They don't realize you don't get them all free.
No, you have to buy them all.
Right.
You literally you're allowed 13. You have to buy them at whatever the face value. It's like $800 a ticket or something like that. You know what I mean? And you got to try to figure that out, and then now you try to figure out travel arrangements because you're going to be gone a week and a half. The team was pretty good. Like if the family wanted to come out, for us it was easy just because I lived out there or had family out there, but. Yeah, I mean, you got to try to figure out how you're going to get your family out there, right? And then, the team hotels. It's just so much going on in that week before, plus you're practicing. If you've been there, it makes it way easy. You know exactly right. We're going to be at the hotel. I got some media stuff. We're going to do this, and then all of this isn't that important, right?
Right.
You've been to you've been to the experiences. You've seen everything that you need to see. So Brady. Brady probably wish he could get here Thursday.
Every other year. Every other year.
Gosh.
Jared Allen.
They got another photo shoot up there.
Jared Allen here with us on the set. So we mentioned you played here for a few years and were dominant when you were here. We've tried to embrace the whole Minnesota thing. He went ice fishing.
Yes, I did.
I did the roller coaster and the zip lining here. I'm going to do curling later on today. Is there something here in Minnesota that we need to do while we're here to make sure we embrace the entire Minnesotan experience?
Well, you already got Yo-Yo Donut.
That was awesome.
You've done ice fishing.
Ice fishing was fantastic.
My favorite thing in the world.
They said we got to get the Juicy Lucy.
Juicy Lucy,
yeah, right down. Actually, I think it's Matt's or something like that.
Yeah.
Matt's Bar and Grill.
Yeah.
Right downtown.
Got to do that.
Okay, everybody when you said that, everyone in the crowd was like, "Yeah, Matt's got to go to Matt's." Apparently, we're going to Matt's.
It seems so.
Is there anything else that we need to check off the list?
No, and you know what? You guys do a polar plunge?
Not doing that.
No,
Not happening.
Trust me, I think that's dumb.
Yeah.
It's dumb. I'm not.
No chance.
I didn't do it.
Well, I guess I shouldn't say that.
I will stand and applaud all those that do.
If I go out for a night and things, get a little loose, then it's possible.
Yeah, they'll bring you right back in the check.
That's true. That's true.
That's how the chef survived the Titanic, man. He was drunk off his gourd and he survived that water in the Atlantic. Okay, we said Jared Allen is here with us, played in Minnesota. You're here courtesy of P&G and Amazon Prime. What are you doing with Amazon Prime and P&G?
I'm just teaching people to go number 2. No, we're here with Amazon and P&G about the
hopefully
the
most people
blitz,
don't
right?
need to learn that.
No, but embrace it, right? Everybody poops. You've read that book.
Sure.
The best part about it is so they have the bathroom blitz campaign where everybody decorates for the Super Bowl, and you forget the one bathroom that probably gets used the most in a Super Bowl party is your bathroom. So just here with them with products like Febreze and all the good stuff, Charmin. Hey, it's soft, right? Bounty, all those good products that you can get on Amazon, and now. If anybody's like my wife, I have an Amazon. It's like Christmas at my house. An Amazon box
every day a box comes to the house,
and I'm just like, what is going on?
Isn't that the truth?
She's like, babe, they bring it right to you, and a lot of times it's the same day. And I have to be honest, I'm just like, I have to go to the recyclable station now to drop off all the boxes. And I'm like, I just need to buy stock on Amazon because this is ridiculous.
It is incredible, but that is impressive. You do forget about that room. Yeah. You know, you say, hey, take care of that one. Make it nice for everybody.
And listen, I like the room.
Yeah.
I like
you and me
both.
Bathroom.
There's a reason they call it the throne.
The throne, yeah. It's just like a zen moment of peace.
Amen to that.
You know what? You get to read your news.
It's your alone time.
Now I have a foam finger, so this is
how about that?
I'm just going to be chilling in there like my kids are going to come in like, what?
I'm busy.
What are you guys doing? Didn't you see the finger on the door? Did you not see the finger on the door?
Come back in a half hour. All right. That may help us as the donuts continue to work their magic.
Awesome.
Jared Allen, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks,
great having you on the show. Good to see you, partner. Don't leave me hanging. Come on. It's like Tom Brady. Everybody's trying to give him a high five. No one gives him a high five. Jared is here with us. Golic and Wingo on the road, presented by Progressive Insurance, live from the Hard Rock Cafe in the Mall of America. Coming up, one of your former teammates and one of 3 men up for the most prestigious award in the NFL. That's all ahead.
Hey everyone, Mike Golic here. Support for the Golic Wingo podcast comes from our friends at Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Chances are you're confident when it comes to your work, your hobbies, your life. Rocket Mortgage gives you that same level of confidence when it comes to buying a home or refinancing your existing home loan. With Rocket Mortgage, you can apply simply and understand fully so you can mortgage confidently. To get started, go to rocketmortgage.com/Mikes. Equal housing lender, licensed in all 50 states, NMLSconsumeraccess.org number 3030.
Ladies and gentlemen, one of the 3 men up for the Walter Payton Man of the Year, Panthers tight end Greg Olsen joins us now. You and I actually share something in common, which is very unusual.
Not athletic ability.
Exactly right. Or looks, or fame, fortune, and success.
Other than that, what is it?
We all did the one-chip challenge.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
I watched you guys do it.
We all did the one-chip challenge.
Trey handled it so well that there were those that didn't believe he actually ate the chip. I was stunned. I was wiping tears off my face with bread.
It was a mess.
It was horrible.
How did you handle that so well?
I do spicy foods okay. Like the donut I had earlier, that's bothering me. You could have 5 more. In fact, people didn't believe that I did it, so I ate another one that day.
He did.
You did 2?
I did 2 in one day.
Oh, my God.
People didn't believe it because he had barely any reaction to it. He did it on NFL Live later that day. Ate another one.
Wow.
I'm just a champion. What can I tell you?
Horrible.
Championship. That's all I'm saying.
It was hot then, and it didn't get much better.
I didn't eat dinner that night. I mean, I was like really uncomfortable.
It was a tough call. By the way, in the video we showed coming in, in case people, if you didn't see that, if you saw Greg play during the season, great beard through the season.
Thanks.
That's a seriously good beard.
The beard gets good during the year.
Yeah.
And then you got to clean it up.
And the wife's cool with that. I tried the beard thing, and my wife basically laughs at me and says, "Go shave it."
During the season, she's cool with it, and then I rejoin society when the year is over and be a dad, a husband, look decent, go to dinner with the people we've turned down for the last 6 months. All those things.
Unfrozen caveman lawyer. So, suddenly you need to go
all
back
of a sudden
to
I resurface.
Yeah. By the way, you're very good at this. This is why you'll be a part of our coverage of Super Bowl Sunday on NFL Countdown. So
looking forward to that.
It's a shame you don't have anything going for you, Greg. It's really really feel bad about that. We just had Jared on, and we talked about the experience of losing Super Bowl 50. How long did it take you to say, okay, that's over and we got to refocus, or does it still linger with you a little bit?
Yeah, that 2015 season is very bittersweet. Anytime you start out 14-0, go 15-1 in the regular season, and then the way we played in our 2 playoff games against what people thought were the top 2 teams in the league. I mean, we were rolling people, and then it all kind of came to a sudden halt at the worst time we could have ever imagined, and we played poorly, but there's so many great memories from that year, holding the NFC trophy, winning that game at home, getting to another Super Bowl. The 2 weeks leading up to the game, just the idea that you're being part of something so much bigger than yourself, and again, and then you just try to forget how the game kind of went. I don't remember what the score was.
24-10.
Yeah, sorry. I mean, 10 points, and we didn't score. We'd scored 10 points a quarter.
You were the highest scoring team in the NFL that year.
We scored 40-something in the NFC Championship game against what everyone thought was the top defense in Arizona, and then we had 31 or 32 points at halftime against Seattle. So, and then somehow we only managed 10. It was a weird day.
Yeah, and through this season, in a 3-week period from starting October 1st, you played both the teams in the Super Bowl.
Yep.
The New England Patriots, you guys beat 33-30, lost to the Eagles 28-23. Now, I know you had injury issues this year, missing some games, but looking at those two games and those two teams, kind of break down those teams as you see them.
Yeah, I mean, obviously with New England, it all starts with Brady. I mean, he's the ultimate fixer. I mean, he can overcome a lot of holes. He can overcome a lot of problems, a lot of mistakes throughout the course of the game. There's just not been many guys like him. And with the way Belichick gets them ready to play, and then you sprinkle in the talent he has around him on both sides of the ball, it's hard to pick against them. And we saw it last week. Everyone thought they were dead to rights against Jacksonville. And, if he's close enough, he's within striking distance there at the end. It's hard to go against them. But, we saw Philly firsthand. We hosted them on a Thursday night game earlier in the year.
I forgot that you guys have played Philly, yeah.
Yeah, we played 3 of the 4 teams in the conference championships. We had beaten 2 of the 3. We had beaten Minnesota at home. We had beaten New England on the road, and we had lost a close one to Philly. We had a couple turnovers deep in the red zone. That defense put so much pressure on you with Fletcher Cox and Malcolm Jenkins and the guys off the edge rushing. So they put a lot of pressure on offenses. So I think that'll be a very interesting matchup, how the offense of New England kind of counterbalances against that defense.
From that side, you didn't play in that game, correct?
I didn't play in either one of them.
But in against that Eagle defense, from what I obviously watch them and try and analyze them, but from people that have played against them, they call them a very frustrating defense. They frustrate you as an offense.
Yeah, they're just so good at all 3 levels. They can rotate guys in and out. Of course, Fletcher Cox gets a lot of the recognition up front, but they got 7 guys who really can get after you up front. So if your protection plans aren't really sound, if you don't have a really good idea of how we're going to handle pressure, how we're going to handle this front when they just rush 4, you're going to be in for a long day. And then as you get further away from the ball, the talent and the level of play continues to be high. And they're very good on the outside in the secondary. They got really fast, active linebackers on the inside. It's a challenge when you play teams like that. They're very dynamic, they're very fast, and they put a lot of pressure on an offense to stay at a long distance situation, stay in front of the chain, stay on schedule, and those are all things I'm sure the last couple of weeks that New England's really trying to harp on here leading up to the game.
Panthers tight end Greg Olsen with us here on set. He joins us courtesy of Coca-Cola. We'll get to that in just a second, but Roger Goodell had his annual State of the League address yesterday. We had him on our show Tuesday. Before he did that, we got a little sneak peek. As a guy who's a receiver, a tight end, what did you make of when he said, we really need to look at what is and isn't a catch now?
Yeah, I think everyone wants to look at what a catch is and re-examine. I just don't know what the solution is, right? I'm just not a big supporter of introducing more rules, more very minute details if it doesn't make it easier, if it doesn't make it more clear. And I'm not sure if anybody has posed a better solution. I think right now the idea of going to the ground as you're making the catch, you have to hold the ball through the entire process of going to the ground. If you are established as a runner,
do you like that?
I'm fine with it.
Okay.
I have no problem with it because if not, I think the gray area becomes very murky.
Yeah.
How long did you hold the ball? Because a lot of people say, all right, once your knee hits the ground, you should be down. So if the ball hits your hands as you're going to the ground, like the James one in Pittsburgh.
Jesse James.
So he's going to the ground and he hits his knee. If you freeze frame that in slow motion, is that automatically a catch now? And then the ball comes out. How long does he have to hold it? Is there a time? It comes very, very subjective.
Yeah, see, to me, that's the issue. I want it to be consistent because the ground can't cause a fumble, yet somehow if you have possession, the ground can cause an incompletion. That doesn't seem to make sense to me. And the goal line thing drives me nuts because you have a running back, dives over the top of the pile, just crosses the plane with the football, ball knocks out, touchdown. You have either the Jesse James play or that Sterling Shepard play,
right,
week 2, where he caught the ball trailing in the back of the end zone against Philadelphia. Caught it 4 steps, then was pushed, fell out of bounds, 10 yards outside the end zone, ball comes loose. It's not a touchdown. To me, it should be the same. Whatever it is for a runner, if you deem that you have possession of the ball, whether it's the ground can't cause a fumble or once you cross the goal line with possession of the ball, it should be a touchdown one way or the other.
But then it becomes a how long did you hold the ball?
I think we'll go for 37 seconds.
Right, so that's the problem, right? So do you hold it for 1 second? Is it 3 seconds?
Don't ruin my idea, Greg.
No, I'm just asking.
I had a good idea.
It's a great idea, Joe.
No, it's not.
It's a great idea, Joe.
Don't,
I just think that's where it becomes great. So what I think they've attempted to do, and you can argue that they didn't do a good job explaining it or letting it be officiated, whatever, but they're trying to make a distinction between being a ball carrier, which is where the ground can't cause a fumble, and not a ball carrier, which is going to the ground where you have to possess the ball the entire time. I think they're trying to make those 2 different things to clear it up for the officials trying to call it in split seconds.
But do you think they should be? I mean, if you've established possession,
Because I think what happens is if you're not a runner, and so the Jesse James ones is the perfect example. How long do you have to have the ball in your hands to be a completion? Like, is it just the second it touches your hands? Is it 1 second? So now we got to start like timing. It just gets very murky, I think.
It definitely needs to be simplified, not made more complicated.
Correct.
And to Roger Goodell's credit, I'm glad he said it. It's not the blame of the officials.
Right.
The officials,
No,
it's
we
almost
gave them a bad
impossible
rule is what he
to
said.
officiate that rule the way
And
it
it's
is written.
easy for all of us. And again, we argue with officials. They have an impossible job.
Right.
We all have the luxury, fans have the luxury of watching this stuff with 50 camera angles. Everything in slow motion looks clear. Everything in slow motion is how easy was that. He got his second foot down.
I hate that.
Yeah.
This is happening in milliseconds with really fast guys. There's a lot going on. It's hard to catch every little part of it.
Correct. So you're here with us, courtesy of Coca-Cola. We'll get to that in a minute. There's a lot going on with your franchise now. Jerry Richardson has stepped down. The team will be up for sale. Is there a lot of uncertainty about how things are going forward now in Carolina?
I think guys are interested to see how things play out. First of all, who owns the team, who buys the team, how that process, is that going to be something that happens this spring in the offseason? Is it going to be something that lingers into the summer and possibly the fall? I don't think anybody has those answers. The reality is a lot of good teams, a lot of good organizations don't really go through ownership changes very often in today's NFL. It just doesn't happen much. And so I think there's a lot of questions that still need to be answered. And, of course, we don't get brought into.
So you're not brought into the meetings?
I haven't been asked to come to any of the
Yeah.
owner meetings. No one's asked me to join their ownership group. I'm waiting for my phone to ring. It hasn't happened. But it's been a bittersweet season. Of course, Mr. Richardson, we understand everything that went on, but, he means a lot to a lot of different guys in a lot of personal ways. I mean, I know what he did for our family when we were in our toughest times, and, he's done that numerous times with very little fanfare. So a lot of guys in that locker room have very strong feelings for him, and, so it's kind of a little bit of a tough situation.
But you certainly understand.
I get it.
Yes, yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Totally understand the circumstances that are at play, and the organization's going to move forward accordingly.
Like I say, you don't have control over that,
Nope.
but and you don't have control over Saturday night either. The awards ceremony for the NFL, you're one of three up for the NFL Man of the Year. You,
J.J. Watt,
J.J. Watt, Benjamin
two
Watson.
tight ends, by the way,
I mean,
represented.
Tight ends are well represented.
You're a great player, and that's what you do for your craft. But talk about that, being up as the final three for the Man of the Year. You do so much in your community and around. We see it in the Twitter world all the time. Things that you're doing and money you're raising. So talk about that and just how important that is to you.
Yeah, you mentioned that we're here with Coke this week as we've gotten going with Walter Payton Man of the Year and just getting ready for that on Saturday. My second year now being a finalist. Last year was a runner-up. We wanted to take this week and highlight some of the partners that have allowed us to elevate this. And Coca-Cola, we've done some really cool things in the community with them, with our local bottler, with military veterans and homeless stuff during Thanksgiving and hospital visits. And, of course, the hospital is one that's very close to us.
Absolutely.
With our son who went through everything with his heart condition and the very high-level care that he was able to get. Kind of inspired us to start our Hardest Yard program, and that program has really elevated our philanthropy to the level that's now being recognized for such awards like the Walter Payton Man of the Year, and I never would have imagined 10 years ago that would have been such a big part of our life, and something that was so trying, something that was so personal, we've now been able to work with countless organizations, and Coke being one of the biggest ones, and we've been able to touch so many different lives in the community. It's really been amazing.
Good to have partners like that to help you out along the way.
And it's really elevated our ability to reach people and our ability to get the message out there and be able to touch more lives. This past fall, we've worked with them for the last couple of years. This past fall, we did a really cool campaign with some military veterans who came back called Big Hearts Mini Cans, and we went out into the community and rallied a lot of the people to come and support the military folks. We've done some hospital visits with our connection with them. So it's been a unique partnership because so much of it has been community based, and that's not very common with a lot of guys who work with companies. So it's been very unique, and the local Charlotte community and the Carolinas as a whole have really enjoyed it.
Well, kudos to you.
Absolutely.
Kudos to Coca-Cola for doing that. And by the way, the story that you're hearing from Greg, look, he's one of three up for the Walter Payton Man of the Year, but the stories of players being involved in the community is so much more common than people think. We always tend to focus on this guy did this wrong or this this bad or this incorrectly. So many players are investing in their community, and it's great to see you representing both, as you said, the Carolinas, not just Charlotte, not North Carolina, and we wish you all the best in the Man of the Year, Walter Payton Man of the Year Award Saturday.
Thanks so much, guys. Always enjoy coming on. Thanks.
Greg Olson, everybody. Golic and Wingo, we're in the zone, in the donut zone, live from the Hard Rock Cafe in the Mall of America, brought to you in part by AutoZone. And we're here with many of our friends. We're glad they're here. They're still trying to get me to say that word right.
I have no idea.
I'm going to go up to them at the next break and actually get it directly so we say it right.
Panenkaken.
Pannenkuchen. It's a foot-long pancake bake.
Right, not as thin as a crepe and not as thick as a regular pancake.
So, but it's a foot in diameter.
Yeah, and so that means I'm going to try it.
You're in.
That's exactly right.
So we've been talking about this a little bit, some of the things that have been coming out this week as the Patriots are dealing with more media requests than they normally do. And it's sort of, all this stuff is sort of bearing out what that Seth Wickersham, thank you. I don't know why I almost said
That's
Seth
okay.
Abramson. I don't know why I was going there. Seth Wickersham's article on ESPN.com about the tensions between the Patriots. And Bill, by the way, Bill Belichick, you may not like him, but no one plays the game better than Bill. Like Teddy Bruschi once told me that he got up for the crowd and said, hey, all you guys, all you players, I don't want to see any of this my face or space book. That's conduct detrimental. Knowing exactly full well it's MySpace and Facebook.
Yeah.
And someone today asked him about Tom versus Time, the thing on
Facebook, right? Yeah.
And Bill's response was, I don't know. I don't have snap face.
Okay.
I mean, and he does it with a straight face.
He does, but that one is so transparent.
Right, but some people are like, oh, wow.
Come on.
He knows.
Yeah.
He knows. But it does seem, Mike, that there has been a little bit of a rift, especially when you hear President Jonathan Kraft basically say Brady has earned the right to retire whenever he wants to. We all know that that's not going to be Bill's decision.
Right.
Clearly, it's going to be up to Brady, and that's got to rankle Bill.
And we've heard Robert Kraft say that, people have to check their egos at the door. And it just, I guess a lot of time with the same people, even though there's a lot of success, you can see that it was a way shorter amount of time, but we keep going back to Kobe and Shaq. How many more could they have won? But they just couldn't play together in the sandbox, and all of a sudden this great thing breaks up. Now, this thing in New England has been going on for a long time with incredible success, and I don't see it changing. I see Belichick coaching that team. I see Brady quarterbacking that team 2 more years, and then we'll see where it goes from there.
The only way it changes is if A, Bill retires, or B, Kraft agrees to trade him. And again, I don't see any of that changing. Listen, we have a great final hour for you because we have great people here.
Yes, we do.
At the Hard Rock Cafe in the Mall of America. Panakokin, got it. We have the NFL's all-time leading rusher will be here. Luke Kuechly, Panthers linebacker, will be here. And again, I want to make sure I'm reading this right. Aaron Rodgers will also be here. So we have it all for you. Stay with us. Golic and Wingo, ESPN Radio, ESPN2. Panakokin.